Lin, woo,
I'm dead!
Warriors.
Back at it again. Let's get into every Cartoon Network cancellation explained. I saw this and I was like, dude, this looks so good. I want to watch this so bad. So I was like, I'm gonna share it with you guys. Let's do it.
Everyone's got their favourite, and if you grew up at any time in the last 30 years, there's a good chance your favourite aired on
Ben
Cartoon
10.
Network.
Oh, this
Since
is so good.
1992, those little checkerboard squares have seen hundreds of cartoons, and some not cartoons, come and go.
True.
And while many of us have fond memories of the network in its heyday, back when they only showed
Fosters.
good cartoons during the specific years of whenever
Pleasure
you
time, yeah.
personally were the target demographic, few of us ever really know why it is our favourite childhood shows come to an end.
Yeah.
With an audience too young to understand the complexities of viewing
I wanna
figures,
know.
merchandising contracts, and spicy drama between executives and creatives, cartoon cancellations don't often receive quite the same levels of scrutiny as shows aimed at adults. One day that show you like just isn't on the air anymore.
Yeah, and it's like, why? What happened to my
You
show?
simply have to accept it. So, to set that straight, I combed the entire Cartoon Network back catalogue to try and find the answers to
Dude, this guy got into the Cartoon Network tea. That is why we're here. We are here for the Cartoon Network tea.
why each of these shows ended up ending. So join me as we explore the history of Cartoon Network cancellations. Now, before we begin, I do need to set a few ground rules because while we will be covering every Cartoon Network show, asterisk, we will not be covering every show that has ever been on Cartoon Network. And what I mean by that is that in the early days of Cartoon Network, the majority of its broadcasting was classic cartoons from the Hanna-Barbera library of 60s, 70s, and 80s shows. And there's no point talking about why those shows ended when they'd already finished decades before Cartoon Network even
Right.
existed.
Boomerang.
So rule number one is that to be in this list, it has to be a show which had new episodes debut on Cartoon Network before any other channel. No reruns of retro Hanna-Barbera shows, so no Hong Kong Phooey, and no
I
reruns
loved Hong Kong Phooey. I used to really enjoy Boomerang, which is a separate channel where they would bring in retro cartoons and you could watch that. Yeah, who is it? That donkey with the freaking guitar. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? El Kabong! El Kabong! Yes, yes, yes.
of recent cartoons that aired on other stations originally, so no
I love that
Shaolin
show.
Showdown. Now, in the UK and other territories, Shaolin Showdown did
Shaolin Showdown, I thought was Kids WB, which was a completely separate program. Like that's not. Was that Cartoon Network too? I thought this was just Kids WB.
premiere on Cartoon Network, but in the US it had its first run on Kids WB, which brings us to rule number 2. This list is based specifically on programming from Cartoon Network US.
Okay. I was gonna be like, like, why are we bringing in Shaolin Showdown? Because that was for sure. I remember watching that. Jackie Chan Adventures, Pokemon. Well, no, I think Pokemon was Cartoon Network. Yu-Gi-Oh! For sure was Kids WB. There's a few other programs. Do you get dehydrated a lot, need a drink that won't break the bank? Then you should get Gamersupps. They believe in traditional American values, like anime girl guys. It's caffeine-free and caffeinated in 2 kinds of tubs. Gamersupps improved my social life, and now I can stop seeing people in the mirror. Popular flavors include Guacamole Gamer Fart 9000, Sweet 6-Pack, Blowhole Blast, and Sploosh. Use discount ChaCha at checkout for 10% off. Stay hydrated, stay hydrated, stay hydrated.
Say, and for 3 good reasons. 1, it's
Animaniacs,
realistically
yeah.
where most of the audience for this video will be from. 2, it's the region with the most readily available information about these shows. And 3, it's the audience that had the most impact on the fate of these shows. America is where Cartoon Network is based, and it's where the big decisions get made. Which tunes precious little Caleb in Dubuque, Iowa was watching probably had twice as much influence over what got picked up for a new season than what I was watching in the UK. Which is why Sheep in the Big City got cancelled, and why CN Real dragged on for so long. And hey, Caleb in Dubuque, Iowa, shout out if you are watching. But on the flip side of this is Rule 3. If an international show debuts in the US on Cartoon Network, then it will be included in this list. So don't worry, all
Sailor
your
Moon.
Flash animated Canadian favourites will be included.
Right?
The only exception to Rule 3 is Rule 4. No anime. A lot of anime premiered in America on Cartoon Network, but nobody would ever consider Rurouni Kenshin or Evangelion
Love
to be Cartoon
those
Network
shows,
shows,
dude.
so they're not included, obviously. And finally,
Adult
Rule
Swim.
5. This list is concerning the main Cartoon Network channel and block only. No
Yeah, so no Adult Swim, right?
affiliated stations or streaming services like Boomerang or
Swim.
HBO
Yeah.
Max, and none of the major
No
alternative
Boomerang.
blocks that get
Yeah.
separated in Nielsen ratings like Adult Swim. Or else this list would be 5 times longer than
Yeah.
it already is. Shows which predate those blocks and stations will be included as long as they are on the main Cartoon Network
That's
channel.
Space Ghost, yeah.
As soon as they split off into Adult Swim or Boomerang or whatever, then they stop being included. But I will mention if a show transfers out of Cartoon Network into Adult Swim or Boomerang, whatever. I'm sure there will be mistakes in this list. There's not really one well-kept source of information on all this, especially for some of the more obscure shows. I've compiled this based on the sources out there on the internet, and sometimes those sources conflict with each other, so I've had to take an educated guess.
I'm actually going to be really, really interested to see how many of these I know, because I wasn't chronically online, but I tell you, I was such a chronic watcher of like all things Cartoon Network.
But apologies for any mistakes in advance. And finally, because this project is so big, I will be splitting the video into 2 parts. This one covering Cartoon Network from the 1990s up until the end of the 2000s, and a
I'm
second
so
part
excited
from
for this.
2010 through to present day. If you don't want to miss that second part, maybe subscribe? I don't know, maybe. For your convenience, I'll chapter the video year by year so that you can skip to any part that's of particular interest to you, and I'll also add annotations to the shows to point out if they're Cartoon Network originals, syndicated shows, acquisitions, live action, etc. You don't need to know the difference between a syndicated show and an acquired show, but it's generally that syndicated shows are American and acquired shows are generally foreign. For international shows, I'll also try and include the flags of the countries that produce the series. And so, with all of that out of the way, let's begin.
I'm so ready!
The Moxie Show. Final
What?
episode premiere date,
Never seen this. I didn't even know this one existed.
25th of December, 1995. Take it! So the first show on this list is a really interesting one, actually. The Moxie Show was the first original show by Cartoon Network, though
Really?
it doesn't always get that distinction because it didn't rely on original content. Being
He looks a little familiar, but maybe that's because, like, they reiterated him as, like, a throwback because he was, like, first cartoon, maybe? Like, I don't remember a show about him, but, like, his character, it does seem a little familiar. I wonder if they threw him in as, like, just a throwback here and there. Yeah, like a weird mascot.
Being an anthology series showcasing classic cartoons from the Turner Library, the only original content was in the intro, outro, and interstitial parts that featured the title character Moxie. The series aired under the title The Moxie Pirate Show until the final episode, where it was renamed to The Moxie and Flea Show. This is because that final episode was actually an unsuccessful pilot trying to transition the show from relying on archive content to a more
Yeah, I don't
typical
remember him at all.
episodic cartoon comedy. Interestingly,
Why does he kind of look like a Temu Crash Bandicoot, though?
Moxie and Flea were animated using fully 3D mocap technology, and even
Huh.
appeared live in the 1993 debut
That's
special.
wild, it was
with great
mocapped.
international tune-in. This arguably
Dude, does that mean he's the original VTuber? No! Like, hold up, wait a minute. Everyone, no, this is crazy. They're saying that they used mocap technology for him. Everyone said that the annoying orange was the original VTuber. That's a lie. It was this guy. That's crazy. Everyone said annoying orange was the guy. It's this guy. This is the original VTuber. We found the missing link. Yeah.
makes Moxie the world's first VTuber more than
He just said it! He just said it!
a decade before the tube part of VTubing even existed. A lot of the Moxie Show is now lost media, with only a few full episodes existing today. The Moxie Show was cancelled in 1995
That's
after
crazy!
24 episodes.
It's not, I didn't pre-watch this. I was gonna pre-watch a 90-minute video. No.
Largely because it just didn't prove that popular with audiences, and because Cartoon Network decided to pass on the Moxie and Flea pilot. The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. Final episode premiere date, 16th of April, 1997.
Johnny Quest. I like Johnny Quest.
Another interesting entry early on the list is The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, a revival of the classic 1960s adventure series and its 1986 reboot. This iteration of the show would be an ambitious adventure series using both classic 2D and now dated 3D animation. I never really watched that much of the show myself, but I do remember it having one of the best intros of any cartoon. Although Real Adventures was a Turner Hanna-Barbera production, the show is technically syndicated.
As a kid, I did not watch this show because it looked creepy with the 3D. So, like, I mean, come on. You see this face as a kid? This face? This is unhinged. For me, this was too creepy as a child, so I didn't watch it. But I remember
because it aired on Cartoon Network, TBS, and TNT at the same time, and wasn't branded as a Cartoon Network original. The series got the green light following Turner's acquisition of Hanna-Barbera, with the new owners receiving high demand from fans for new Johnny Quest content. The new show was an ambitious update of the old series,
Turban Guy!
Not just because of the inclusion of CGI, but because developers Peter Lawrence and Takashi Masunaga wanted a more mature take on the series, and because Turner embarked on a huge advertising campaign to promote it.
Whoa.
Development hell led to Lawrence and Masunaga being taken off the show, and some of their original ideas being reworked and reined in, furthering delays. Despite a positive critical reception and good
It reminds me of that anime called Parasite. Yeah.
viewership from adult fans of Johnny Quest, the show failed to establish strong ratings with its target demographic of young boys, and merchandise sales were poor. The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest was cancelled after less than 1 year, with 2 seasons and 52 episodes. And while the show itself may not have proved popular, my god, that intro still slaps. What a Cartoon. Final episode premiere date, 28th of November, 1997.
Oh, wait a minute. I remember these. These were short, animated, almost pilot episodes for shows that they wanted to test run to see if they would perform well as like full-on shows. They did one for Powerpuff Girls and Dexter and Cow and Chicken. They did so many like little tester teasers for What a Cartoon to see how well they would perform. It was, a lot of pilot spin-offs. Yes.
Cartoon Crossings, from us to you.
At the risk of sounding like a broken record, What a Cartoon is also a really interesting entry onto this list. And in fact, it might be the most interesting. It's certainly one of the most important
I thought these were so fun. I loved What a Cartoon.
shows in Cartoon Network history. What a Cartoon was Fred Seibert's baby. If you don't know Fred Seibert, he's a guy largely responsible for developing Cartoon Network's identity and brand and feel and just the vibe in the early years. Something he'd already done previously, overseeing the launch of MTV and modern Nickelodeon before doing the same for Cartoon Network, and then once he left Cartoon Network, founding his own company Frederator. He's a really interesting guy and arguably one of the most influential people in terms of not just modern animation, but just modern pop culture in general. What a Cartoon was an anthology of animated shorts, but unlike other anthologies already on the network, which relied on archive content, these would be original cartoons created mostly by up-and-coming animators working alongside Cartoon Network to develop their ideas into a short pilot. This was a win-win situation for everyone. It gave these animators the resource to not only create a cartoon, but also have it air on TV and get it under the noses of Cartoon Network executives. And it gave those executives the chance to test out these pilots with a real audience before deciding to greenlight them. Successful What a Cartoon pilots which got their own shows included Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo.
Imagine if VTuber companies did something like this. I'm sure it would be really expensive, though. Basically taking, like, multiple VTubers and debuting them and having, specific content for them and then seeing which one of them, like, performed well. I don't know. I always thought that this was an interesting concept.
Cow and Chicken, the Powerpuff Girls, and Courage the Cowardly Dog. There was also a pilot for Mina and the Count, which was later repitched to Nickelodeon and in a roundabout way ended up leading to My Life as a Teenage Robot. Larry and...
Yeah, basically taking the concept of like PNG tubers, where it's like, here's a design. It's not fully rigged, but like you have like the character concept and everything. It's drawn. So you could have something that is, you know, drawn for like $100. And then it moves open, closes mouth. Maybe it does one little like action. And then you perform with it. So interesting. Anyway.
Steve was a pilot from Seth MacFarlane, which he further developed until it became Family Guy. Butch Hartman submitted some pilots. Legendary animator Ralph Bakshi hated his submissions so much that he later disowned them. So, not all winners, I suppose. The success of What a Cartoon led Cybert to take the format elsewhere once he left Cartoon Network. Under the name Oh Yeah Cartoons on Nickelodeon, it spawned Chalk Zone and Fairly Odd Parents. Random Cartoons, also on Nick, had...
But Fairly Odd Parents went to Nickelodeon, I thought. Am I wrong about that? I thought that Fairly Odd Parents went to Nick. Yeah.
Pilots for Fanboy and Chum Chum, Bravest Warriors and Adventure Time. Cartoon Institute had Secret Mountain Fort Awesome, Regular Show and Uncle Grandpa, as well as a pilot for Star vs. the Forces of Evil. So, yeah, basically the legacy of What a Cartoon has been pretty significant. After Cybert left Cartoon Network, the show was renamed to Cartoon Cartoons, bringing it in line with how the network branded its original content. Cartoon Planet. Final episode premiere date, 4th of February 1998.
It's next on Cartoon Network.
Feels weird to talk about this before the show.
Wait, was this, like in-betweeners? Kind of like, the alien guy in Toonami?
That it span off from, but Cartoon Planet was a spin-off of Space Ghost Coast to Coast, in which Space Ghost characters would introduce classic Turner cartoons with original skits and songs in between. Originally an hour long, Cartoon Planet was then reduced to a 30-minute format without the classic cartoons, so it was just random skits compiled together to make up the runtime. So essentially what they did was turn the entire show into one of those fan edit videos where it's like Cartoon Planet but without the context.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, Space Ghost did just kind of work like that anyway. Unsurprisingly, this format didn't last too long and the show was cancelled in 1998, but then was revived in 2012 for Cartoon Network's 20th anniversary, now featuring classic Cartoon Network shows from the 90s and 2000s. The Fantastic Voyage of Sinbad the Sailor. Final episode premiere...
I never watched this one. I never watched... How long was this series?
Premiere date, 18th of April, 1998.
So Aladdin?
This is the first show on the list where information gets pretty scarce. The Fantastic Voyage of Sinbad the Sailor was a 1998 animated adventure series based on the classic character from 1001 Arabian Nights. Not a lot of information out there about this series.
Yeah, no wonder it didn't do well. No Jafar. No, Disney had an animated series of Aladdin, and it was so good. There was an episode in which Jasmine gets turned into a snake woman, like full on snake woman, and she is super fine and super hot. And there's like this furry woman named Mirage, also body yaddy. There is a wannabe Jafar. What was his name? Was it like Mosenrath or something? Mosenrath? Wood. Wood. Anyway, he had like this really cool eel pet that would like slide around and be like, yes, master. Like, it was crazy. It was good. It was a good.
Other than it was produced by Fred Wolf Films, who did the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, and that Sinbad was a first-run syndication on Cartoon Network, meaning that it wasn't produced specifically for Cartoon Network, they just bought the rights to premiere it. New episodes aired from February to April 1998, and the series concluded after 26 episodes, presumably just not generating enough interest to demand more. Note that The Fantastic Voyage of Sinbad has no relation to The Adventures of Sinbad, Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas.
Aladdin's former friends and his ex-GF turned into monsters. Oh, that really hot, witch. There was a witch. Did she turn into a monster? There was a witch in that series that was obsessed with Aladdin. I loved that animated series. That one, Hercules and The Little Mermaid were peak, but Aladdin was my favorite, man. My favorite.
Or Sinbad Beyond the Veil of Mist.
She was a sandwich, that's right.
Same era. Research is still ongoing as to why everyone in the late 90s and early 2000s was so down bad for Sinbad.
Hold on. I know that I should be watching this video, but like now that we're talking about... I know this isn't even related. Hold on. Let me... Hold on. Give me a second. This chick. Why does Homegirl look a lot like me? So I doxed myself. That's crazy. This sandwich girl looks a lot like me, actually.
In your imagination, check out Big Bag.
Big Bag?
Big Bag was Cartoon Network's first original show to include live action and puppetry, and was a preschool collaboration
It reminds me of like Puzzle Pals, if you guys remember that show.
between Cartoon Network and the Jim Henson Company. The show featured live action segments with actors and Muppets interacting in a fictional shop, interspersed with animated shorts from around the world. It featured cartoons from the UK, Germany, Spain and Australia, and the animated series were regular and recurring throughout Big Bag. Future Courage the Cowardly Dog creator John R. Dilworth made one of those recurring series.
Booty.
called
What
Ace
the?
and
Why
Ava.
is he naked?
Between season 1 and 2, the number of featured animated series was reduced from 6 down to 3. Big Bag ended after 2 seasons and 39 episodes. Presumably this was due to costs, as full-blown Jim Henson Muppet productions are notoriously expensive, plus the fact that they then had to license the animated segments on top of that. They'd already reduced the number of featured series by half between seasons, so you can see they were trying to cut down on costs.
This show existed.
And the fact that preschool shows didn't fit Cartoon Network's core brand at the time, it's not hard to see why this one didn't continue. Cow and Chicken. Final episode premiered
Cow and Chicken! I was not allowed to watch this show.
13th of August 1999.
Stupid song is driving me nuts!
Oh, Mr. Ice Cream Man!
Cow and Chicken was created by David Feiss off the back of a successful What a Cartoon pilot, and is the first show on this list I'd consider to be a true Cartoon Network classic. The show was a surreal comedy about a sister and brother who were a cow and chicken born to human parents, trying to go about their everyday lives while being harassed by a naked devil known as the Red Guy. The series featured a lot of eccentric, shock and gross out humour, which got it into a few controversies, with the episode Buffalo Girls being banned after its first airing due to it containing offensive stereotypes of lesbians. Voice actor Charlie Adler provided the voices of Cow, Chicken, the Red Guy and IR Baboon. The show's format consisted of 2 Cow and Chicken segments, with a segment of I Am Weasel in between, which would later be spun off into a separate show.
Oh, I remember I Am
Cartoon
Weasel.
Network decided not to renew Cow and Chicken in 1999 after 4 seasons and 52 episodes. Feiss has commented that he did want to create more for the show, but Cartoon Network wanted to move on to new things.
Yeah,
I
because
Am
it was very vulgar.
Final episode premiere date 2nd of March 2000.
Well, we're not sure either.
Hey, here we go, I Am
But
Weasel.
it seems to keep the screen clean.
As I mentioned, I Am Weasel was a spin-off from Cow and Chicken. Alongside Cow and Chicken, these were the
Baboon,
final
baboon.
shows made at Hanna-Barbera Cartoons before the studio was restructured into Cartoon Network Studios. Like its sister show, I Am Weasel was another bizarre comedy, following a heroic and intelligent weasel and a jealous, stupid baboon who's always trying to one-up him. And the Red Guy from Cow and Chicken featured as a recurring villain in season 2 of the show. 27 original episodes were made for I Am Weasel, on top of the existing 52 segments which aired as part of Cow and Chicken for 79 episodes in total. Cartoon Roulette. Final episode premiere date 5th of March 2000.
Right?
That's it for Voltron. Now stay tuned for Roulette.
Cartoon Roulette really straddles the line between show and programming block. It was essentially reruns of retro action shows from the Turner Library,
Interesting.
with a brief original intro as part of the original Toonami block. The shows featured never aired under their original names, they always aired under the title Cartoon Roulette, as the whole point was that you had to watch to find out what was being played. Cartoon Roulette was cancelled when Toonami rebranded in 2000 and moved away from the old Turner Library
I remember Thundercats. Thundercats was really big on Toonami.
towards introducing modern anime.
Yeah, before
In June
Toonami.
2001, original Cartoon Network president Betty Cohen, who had been appointed by Ted Turner, resigned from the company after clashing with the new head of Turner Broadcasting. Cohen would be replaced.
You know what's interesting about Cartoon Roulette is that it relies on the concept of FOMO. You don't want to miss what's on it because you don't know what's going to be on the Cartoon Roulette. Whereas when Dish Network came into being, you could see what shows were scheduled on the program for the whole day. If anyone remembered Dish Network. Is Dish Network even still in business? It used to be big when I was a kid, but basically with other like, network television, whatever, but the internet in a TV shows in a box. You guys remember. But you could see what the lineup was. So it's interesting that like they had this roulette where it's like, oh, you never know what you're gonna get on the show. It's interesting anyway.
Placed by Jim Samples, who wanted to create a clear division between children and adult programming.
Channel guides, yes,
which
yes.
led to the launch of Adult Swim and a move away from reruns of classic cartoons, replacing them with more original content. It's also worth mentioning that in December 2000, C-Lab 2021, Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and The Brak Show all premiered on Cartoon Network as stealth marketing for Adult Swim's launch. I'm not including them on this list because they mostly only aired one episode, and they were always intended for Adult Swim anyway, but technically, they did air first on Cartoon Network.
Teen Aqua Hunger Force, right? That show?
The Bob Clampett Show, final episode premiere date 11th of March 2001.
The Bob Clampett Show. An all-new show, Sunday at 9.
The first legacy show on the chopping
I
block was The Bob
vaguely
Clampett
remember
Show,
this.
which, as you can imagine, was an anthology series of classic Bob Clampett Looney Tunes from the 30s and 40s. While most of the show's content was old Looney Tunes themselves, the show included new intros and outros with puppets, as well as...
I recognize the intros of the puppets. Like, I watched old Looney Tunes cartoons because they were classics. My dad would watch those with me and stuff. But, yeah, I don't remember it being called The Bob Clampett Show.
Providing interesting facts about the cartoons featured. The broadcast was notable for featuring a number of shorts which were usually censored at that time. The Bob Clampett Show had 26 episodes made in total before it ended. Mike, Lou and Og. Final episode premiere.
Oh, I remember this. I remember this show. I believe the only episode like comes to mind was that they had this candy that they were all like addicted to. Like one of the girls had like found like this bag of candy or whatever, and everyone on the island was like desperate to get a piece of candy.
Date 27th of May 2001.
Never seen before Mike, Lou, and Og. Friday at 8 on Cartoon Fridays.
Mike, Lou and Og was greenlit off the back of a successful pilot on Cartoon Cartoons, the successor to What a Cartoon. The series was an episodic comedy following Mike, an 11-year-old exchange student from New York who's dropped off on a tropical island cut off from the rest of the world, and her new friends Lou, the entitled and arrogant island princess, and Og, Lou's inquisitive and inventive cousin, as well as the rest of the islanders. Animated in Moscow, Mike, Lou and Og was going for that distinctive Eastern European Klasky Shupo look. The show lasted for 2 seasons, never managing to attract a significant audience against competition from other shows.
Yeah, it was Mike, Lou, and Og was basically what me and my siblings watched when there was nothing else on.
Not being helped by the fact that it debuted on the same night as Courage the Cowardly Dog. Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Final episode premiere date 22nd of July 2001.
Space Ghost.
Space Ghost, welcome to my show.
Yeah, if you never really watched Space Ghost, I'm not sure where to begin with this one. Created by Mike Lazo, Space Ghost Coast to Coast was a late-night talk show that used archive animation from the 1960s cartoon Space Ghost to interview real celebrities. Cool. The in-universe premise is that Space Ghost has imprisoned villains from the original cartoon and is now forcing them to help him host the show.
I love that.
The voices for the characters were redubbed for this broadcast, but the animation was taken directly from the original show. Sometimes the interview questions for the celebrities were edited in post-production for comedic effect, and later seasons relied more on skits and gags rather than the interviews. The show debuted in 1994 and usually gets the credit as Cartoon Network's first original show over Moxie, but is it? Like, if so much footage is reused from the original Space Ghost, is it that much more original than Moxie? I don't know, I think the jury's out on that one. Regardless, the series was wildly successful among teens and adults, resulting in a number of spin-offs for Adult Swim. After 7 seasons and 79 episodes at Cartoon Network, Space Ghost Coast to Coast would itself move to Adult Swim, and then GameTap, finally ending after 14 years. Sheep in the Big City. Final episode premiere date 7th
I did not watch. I did not consume a lot of Sheep in the Big City. I thought it was boring.
of April 2002.
Sheep in the big city.
Another series to come from a cartoons pilot, Sheep in the Big City was a comedy featuring a sheep who's moved to the city in order to hide from an insane army general trying to capture him for his sheep-powered ray gun. The style of comedy for the show was notable for relying a lot on wordplay and meta-humour, with episodes being broken up by random character skits with no relation to the plot. Similar to Mike, Lou and Og, Sheep in the Big City struggled to compete against other shows for ratings and never really stood out, even though I personally remember enjoying the show a lot. It was cancelled after 2 seasons and 26 episodes. The Tex Avery Show. Final episode premiere date 15th of June 2002.
Yes.
Avery Show, right here on Cartoon Network.
Before you jump to conclusions, no.
Yes, like Little Red Riding Hood. Hot Little Red Riding Hood was a reoccurring character with a big bad wolf. Yeah.
No, this is not the wacky world of Tex Avery. Jesus Christ. No, the Tex Avery show was essentially the same as the Bob Clampett show, but with Tex Avery's Warner Brothers and MGM cartoons from the 40s and 50s. The series ran from 1996, with 99 episodes produced until it ended in 2002, as part of the network's move away from legacy media. The Cartoon Show. Final episode premiere date 23rd of August 2002.
Cartoon!
As mentioned previously, the Cartoon Show was a continuation of What a Cartoon, giving Cartoon Network a chance to air pilots from new animators with the possibility of greenlighting them into full series. Successful pilots from the Cartoons era included Mike, Lou and Og, Sheep in the Big City, Codename Kids Next Door, Grim and Evil, Whatever Happened to Robot Jones, and Megas XLR. The series ended after Cartoon Network stopped using the Cartoons branding for their original programming. Grim and Evil. Final episode premiere.
The Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I love that they took the concept of Grim and then they put it into the Grim Adventures.
Date 18th of October 2002.
Grim and Evil were okay, but Billy and Mandy, ooh.
Like I said, Grim and Evil had a successful Cartoons pilot and got the green light from the network. This Maxwell Atoms comedy was split into 2 distinct segments, namely the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy and Evil Con Carne, both of which were later spun off into their own shows. Like Cow and Chicken, the format had 1 Evil segment sandwiched between 2 Grim segments. A second season of the show was produced and originally intended to air as season 2 of Grim and Evil, but Cartoon Network decided to split the shows mid-production. As a result, in the US, technically Grim and Evil only has 1 season of 13 episodes, or 39 segments, before Grim and Evil got split. But in other countries, season 2 of the show aired as originally intended. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Final episode premiere date 22nd of November 2002.
Stupid dog! You made me look bad!
Greenlit from a successful What a Cartoon pilot that also got Oscar nominated.
But I'll be so real. I watched Courage the Cowardly Dog, but it was kind of like Goosebumps, where it's it's so, as a kid, it's this is horror. I don't know, there's only so much Courage the Cowardly Dog I could watch before it was okay, scary show.
Courage the Cowardly Dog would go on to become one of Cartoon Network's most iconic shows. Created by John R. Dilworth, this series was a dark comedy about a cowardly purple dog named Courage.
Yeah, there were some episodes I just couldn't watch because it's scary show.
Who lives on a farm with his elderly owners Eustace and Muriel and has to protect them and the farm from the unexplainable phenomena which plagues the town of Nowhere, Kansas. The series is notable for its use of disturbing...
Oh, Bunny and Cat was my favorite episode from Courage the Cowardly Dog. Sorry. Bunny and Cat was definitely my favorite. I think it was the bunny's friend Cat who gets kidnapped by a dog mafia boss, and Bunny has to go and save her best friend because she's getting abused by this Rottweiler, I think. Anyway,
sometimes scary plots and imagery easily taking the place as Cartoon Network's scariest show.
Yeah, look at this, man.
Prime creepypasta material back in the day. Though spooks weren't the only thing the show had going for it, with the series also featuring a strong use of comedy, music, and character writing. Courage ended in 2002 after completing its contract of 52 episodes, with the new Cartoon Network management
Oh, the cat had to save the bunny. Was it the other way around? Okay.
deciding not to continue the series. Despite that, the show is fondly remembered today as one of Cartoon Network's most unique and celebrated shows. Oh Canada. Final episode premiere date, 9th of December 2002.
What the frick is this?
Oh Canada was an anthology of animated shorts from the National Film Board of Canada.
Do not
Airing late
remember
at
this.
night, the series focused more on adult animation, including one short that would later be developed into the adult animated comedy, Bob and Margaret. The series ended when Cartoon Network let their contract with the National Film Board of Canada expire in 2002, as they already had Adult Swim to provide for adult animation by that.
Was this something that they only showed in Canada? Because I'm from the USA, so I don't remember this at all.
Point. Max Steel. Final episode premiere date, 13th of December 2002.
I don't remember this one either.
Max Steel was a CGI action series created by Mattel to promote their line of action figures. Series 1 and 2 of the show aired first on Kids WB, but Cartoon Network acquired the rights in 2001 and aired its third and final season. After poor toy sales in the USA, Mattel decided not to continue the show.
Makes sense.
Late night black and
Toy sales, really was the driving force for a lot of shows.
white. Final premiere date 30th of December 2002.
We now return to late night black and white.
I don't remember this
Another
one.
late night anthology show, this time focusing on black and white cartoons including Betty Boop,
Oh,
Popeye, and
Popeye.
Old Fleischer shorts. The series ran for 9 years between
Love
1993 and 2002. It was eventually removed due to changes in programming brought about by the launch of Adult Swim. Pacola. Final episode premiere date,
Pacola?
27th of May 2003.
What kind of fever dream show is this?
Peccola, a new show. Weekday mornings at 10.
Pacola was a Canadian-Japanese
Pacola.
CGI cartoon based off of popular Japanese children books, acquired by Cartoon Network to show in the US.
remember this.
The show follows Pacola, a cube penguin who lives in Cube Town with other cube animals, and the
Cube
troubles
Town.
he runs into by enthusiastically
What is this, the square version of Roly Poly Oly?
trying to help them. I'm not 100% sure why it ended, but it got 26 episodes over 2 seasons. With it being a Canada-Japan production, it probably needed both sides to sign on for more episodes, and for whatever reason, one or both decided it wasn't worth
Minecraft
continuing
fever
the series.
dream. Sounds about right.
Sitting Ducks. Final episode premiere
Oh,
date, 5th
this
of
is
July,
familiar,
2003.
but I didn't watch it.
Who named this show anyway? Sitting Ducks, Monday through Friday.
A 2003 Canadian-USA CGI cartoon
Remember it, but
based
I
off a
did not watch
1998 children's book, itself based on a 1977 lithograph print by Canadian artist Michael Bedard,
cute.
which I guess itself is based on the idiom Sitting Duck, but presumably Sitting Ducks is the first cartoon based on a poster. I'm not going to fact check that, I'm
Weird
just quite
vor
satisfied
stuff.
that is the case. The show follows Bill the Duck and his best friend Aldo the Alligator and their comedic misadventures in Ducktown. We had cube animals in Cube Town, now we've got ducks in Ducktown? These aren't exactly
Ducks
the most
in
imaginative
Ducktown.
names. Like Pacola, Sitting Ducks also ran for 26 episodes over 2 seasons. There's probably no great reason as to why it ended, it just fulfilled its contract and wasn't successful
I
enough to
didn't
warrant a
watch this.
continuation. The Popeye Show.
Popeye, I
Final
watched
episode
this.
premiere date 20th of July
I
2003.
loved Popeye. Oh, especially with the live action that they did with Robin Williams. Amazing. I loved Popeye.
The Popeye Show was an anthology series featuring classic episodes of, you guessed it, The Brothers Grunt.
The Brotherhood will fold. Frank. Tony.
Oh,
No,
frick.
obviously it was Popeye, mostly black and white.
There was a live action version? Yeah! With Robin freaking Williams as Popeye. Dude, homework assignment. If you haven't seen it, I'm telling you, it's good. I love there's a segment where Olive Oil sings about editors, you'll have to clip this out. You'll have to clip this out, unfortunately, because it is copyrighted. I can't not show it. It's so good.
He's large. Large.
cartoons from the 30s and 40s. Like the Bob Clampett and Tex Avery shows, the Popeye show featured interesting facts about each episode being showcased. A number of Popeye shorts were omitted during this broadcast due to being deemed inappropriate for the time. In total, 45 episodes comprising 135 shorts were aired. Whatever Happened to Robot Jones? Final
I remember
episode
this
premiere
show.
date 14th of November
Yes.
2003.
Yes.
A comedy about a teenage robot attending a stereotypical 1980s high school and observing and experiencing human teenage life, Whatever Happened to Robot Jones was greenlit after a successful Cartoons pilot. The show had a unique throwback art style to 70s and 80s cartoons, and used classic cell animation techniques, which made the show feel older than it was. I'll be honest, when I first saw the show, I thought it was an old cartoon.
Honestly, no, My Life as a Teenage Robot was Nickelodeon, I believe. I personally liked My Life as a Teenage Robot way better. I think between the two shows, My Life as a Teenage Robot wins. Are you kidding me? XJ9! Anyway, I loved that show. It was great.
Cartoon, which I can appreciate now, but at the time did kind of put me off a little bit. Interestingly, Robot Jones himself was voiced by Microsoft's text-to-speech function in Season 1, but a real voice actor was brought in for Season 2 and went back to redub Season 1, making the original version of those episodes more difficult to find. It was originally intended that Robot Jones would age between seasons, with the final season ending in the 90s, where he would lead a robot uprising and conquer the world. Creator Greg Miller left the show during Season 2 following creative differences with Cartoon Network, and the series was cancelled after 2 seasons, with only 14 episodes including the pilot.
Oh, Invader
As to
Sim
why
was
it was
so
cancelled,
good.
the older animation style may have alienated younger audiences, and between Miller leaving and having to change the voice of the main character, Cartoon Network's relationship with the show soured.
My favorite show! This was one of my favorite shows of all time. This and Powerpuff Girls, man, and Johnny Bravo. Like, I had a lineup, but Dexter's Laboratory, every single time it aired, it didn't matter what show, it didn't matter what episode, or if it was a rerun, it didn't matter. I was freaking sat every single time. Hands down, out of all the shows, my favorite.
Dexter's Laboratory. Final episode premiere date, 20th of November 2003. Another show greenlit from a successful What a Cartoon pilot, and certainly one of the most notable. Dexter's Lab was Genndy Tartakovsky's first show on Cartoon Network, and one of the biggest successes of the platform.
Omelette du fromage!
With 4 seasons and 78
That's all
episodes
you can
being
say!
produced between
That's all you can
1996 and
say!
2003. The show featured the likes of Craig McCracken, Seth MacFarlane, Butch Hartman, Paul Rudish and Rob Renzetti, all working on the show before finding their own success elsewhere. The series followed the diminutive boy genius Dexter and his clashes in his secret laboratory with his intrusive older sister Dee Dee and his arch nemesis and rival Mandark. Earlier episodes also featured unrelated segments for Dial M for Monkey and the Super Friends.
Oh, Super
Series
Friends was
creator
so good.
Tartakovsky was burned out on showrunning and ended the series after Season 2 with the TV film Ego Trip.
Yeah, they had an entire film. It was so good. That movie was good.
Then moving on to help his friend and collaborator Craig McCracken develop his new show, The Powerpuff Girls. Cartoon Network went on to produce Seasons 3 and 4 of Dexter's Lab, replacing Tartakovsky with Chris Savino and redesigning the show's art style. General agreement among the fans is that the quality of the show dropped off following Genndy's departure, but the show was still popular enough to last 78 episodes, or 216 segments depending which way you count it. Also, because I don't think I'll get another chance to mention this, Marco Iwamatsu, the voice of Aku and Uncle Iroh, did the ending voiceover for the credits, which is just some cool cartoon trivia I get to share with you.
Enter at your own peril. Pass the bolted
Yeah, Uncle Iroh, man, that's funny.
The world's never seen.
I didn't know that. I should have picked that.
Tune-Outs. Final episode premiere date, 23rd of November 2003.
Look at Warner Brothers' first true cartoon star. The early career.
The daddy of classic anthology series, Toonhead showcased a range of classic cartoons from Hanna-Barbera, Warner Brothers and MGM. Originally just featuring a simple introduction to the chosen cartoon, the show was reformatted twice. The first time to include trivia and facts about the cartoons, and then a second time introducing themed episodes that all the featured shorts had to match.
Yeah.
Beginning in 1992, these format changes would influence the other anthologies that we've already seen. Toonheads concluded in 2003 after 100 episodes.
Wow.
Time Squad. Final episode premiere date 26th of
I didn't
November
watch this one.
2003. Time Squad follows 3 time cops from the future, visiting different periods of the past to correct the course of history, guiding Earth towards a utopia. Reading that back, that sounds like a pretty cool sci-fi concept.
That wasn't for
but
me.
the show was actually a wacky comedy featuring an enthusiastic orphan boy, a melodramatic diplomacy robot, and a trigger-happy musclehead. In many viewers' opinions, mine included, Time Squad was an underrated gem, which never really got the chance it deserved, always airing at irregular times and receiving little promotion. This led to an urban rumour that the show got cancelled after an episode mocking then US President George W. Bush.
Oh, dang.
But it's more likely that the show just never had the ratings it needed to survive. Time Squad ended after 2 seasons and 26 episodes. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Final episode premiere date, 1st of January 2004.
Masters of the Universe. Friday, August 30th
Yeah.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe was a Mattel series produced for the 2002 revival of the 1980s toy brand, with the series rights being acquired by Cartoon Network.
Loved He-Man.
The new show aimed to revitalize the franchise by updating it with a modern look and providing more explanation to the lore and character backstories. Unfortunately for fans of the show, poor toy sales meant Mattel cancelled production midway through
That's so sad. It's always the toy sales, man.
season 2, meaning only 39 of the planned 52 episodes were
It was
ever
a freaking
completed.
stud muffin.
The Chuck Jones Show.
Chuck
Final
Jones,
episode premiere date 11th of April 2004.
Salutes him with The Chuck Jones Show. New, tonight at 8:30.
Like the Bob Clampett and Tex Avery Show, the Chuck Jones Show played classic Chuck Jones cartoons while adding a new intro and offering trivia. Unlike the other two though, Chuck Jones actually lived long enough to see the show, dying a year after it aired in 2002.
Was Weekenders Kids WB? What program did Kids WB air on? Sorry. Weekenders. I don't believe it was Disney. I don't think that it was Disney. Was it Disney? I thought it was WB. Okay, never mind. Okay.
The series would run for another 2 years,
I
finally
thought it was
ending
Kids
in 2004.
WB for some reason.
Justice League. Final episode premiere date 29th of May 2004.
There must have been a deal between them and WB. I swear it was on Kids WB. Made by Disney, aired by ABC. Okay. Because wasn't Pepper Ann also on that same channel? So that was also ABC, wasn't it? You guys ever remember Pepper Ann? Pepper Ann, da-na-na-na-na-na-na. That one was also on the same broadcast network as Weekenders, wasn't it? Anyway, yeah, Justice League. My mom watched this with me.
Justice League was the first show produced as part of the now long-running Warner Brothers animation deal featuring DC characters. Justice League was Cartoon Network's first contribution to the DC animated universe, following on from the likes of Batman and Superman the animated series. Kevin Conroy reprised the role of Batman alongside other heroes as they formed the Justice League to protect the world from evil. With the show being formatted into 2-episode arcs, giving the show more time to flesh out each story, the series proved to be very popular. Justice League was planned to end after its second season, but the popularity of the show led to it being continued under the new title, Justice League Unlimited.
I was going to say, it was really popular.
The Cramp Twins. Final episode premiere date 19th of July 2004.
Series of the Cramp Twins.
I didn't watch this one.
Today at 5 p.m. on
Independently produced by Cartoon Network Europe, the Cramp Twins debuted in Europe in 2001, but wasn't broadcast in the USA until 2004, even though it had an original American voice cast.
It was not my
The series
favorite.
was about 2 twins who are polar opposites, the rude, selfish bully Wayne and the nerdy suck-up Lucian, and the arguments the two regularly got into. The Cramp Twins unfortunately wouldn't find the same popularity it had in Europe once it went stateside,
I also thought it was
and was
boring.
dropped after its first season. Johnny Bravo.
Johnny
Final
Bravo!
episode premiere date 27th of August 2004.
I used to date this guy in high school, and it was so funny because every single day, my boyfriend at the time would, say goodbye to me at my history class. And my history teacher, every single day, he'd be like, how's Johnny Bravo? Because he looked like him.
You're a Capricorn, I'm a Cancer. Wait, come back.
Johnny Bravo.
Greenlit from a successful What a Cartoon pilot, Johnny Bravo follows the comedic adventures of the Elvis-inspired wannabe womanizer as he attempts to find a woman who will date him, which never happens as they're put off by his dim-witted macho attitude, leading to Johnny's comeuppance. The show was notable for its adult humour and regular use of old Hanna-Barbera characters. Notably, Butch Hartman and Seth MacFarlane both worked on the show. Despite the series' now classic status, it had a troubled production, leading to infrequent episode airings and long gaps between seasons. Original series creator Van Particle left the show after season 1, with Kirk Tingblad taking over production on
I high-key ship Johnny Bravo and Velma. They're kind of cute.
seasons 2 and 3, and focusing more on slapstick elements and cartoon violence. Van Partible returned to the show for season 4, and returned the series to focusing more on Johnny receiving morality lessons as a consequence of his actions. The show ended after 4 seasons with 65 episodes or 179 segments. Samurai Jack. Final episode premiered date,
classic.
25th of September.
A classic. I was really happy when they rebooted it, but like it wasn't as satisfactory as I wanted it to be. But it was so good. Samurai Jack OG. Oh, the show.
2004.
Samurai Jack. The legend continues.
Genndy Tartakovsky's second Cartoon Network show,
So
and the one that put him on the
good.
map as something of a visionary within Western animation. Inspired by the 1970s series Kung Fu and the 1970s manga Lone Wolf and Cub,
They rebooted Samurai? Yeah! He wound up getting like an ending and everything. Yeah, they rebooted the show. They finished it. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, like I would encourage you to go finish it. They gave Jack a girlfriend. Yeah, they wind up getting married. It's crazy.
Samurai Jack was an episodic action cartoon about a wandering samurai thrown into a dystopian future ruled by a demon lord who he must kill in order to return home. The series was notable for its visual style, limited dialogue and cinematic directing, and is considered iconic among Cartoon Network shows. Samurai Jack ended in 2004 after 4 seasons and 52 episodes.
Not you guys saying no spoilers. Bro, it's been how many years? And you're like, no spoilers. Bro, it's been out for how many years? It's been out for a real long time. Go watch it, frick y'all.
With Genndy deciding
No
to leave the story
spoilers.
unfinished as he didn't want to rush an ending.
It's been
and moved on
out.
to other projects. That left Jack's story frustratingly unconcluded until the series was revived in 2017 for a 5th and final season, airing on Adult Swim, which finally saw Jack get back to the past. Evil Con Carne. Final episode premiere date, 22nd of
Yep,
November,
another good one, yeah.
2004.
Grim and Evil.
Begin July 11th at 9:30 on Cartoon.
A spin-off to Grim and Evil, this show stars Hector Con Carne, an evil supercriminal
Yeah, don't
reduced to
spoil
a living brain
Star Wars
with
either.
surgically implanted
Luke's
in the
father.
bear, and is
Too
aided by his
soon.
henchmen Major Dr. Ghastly and General Scar in his quest for world
Yeah, it's been almost 10 years since that remake. You guys go watch it.
domination. Despite a decent response, Evil Con Carne was cancelled after 1 season, after Cartoon Network gave Maxwell Atoms a choice of which show he wanted to continue, and he chose Billy and Mandy. Mega
Well, to be fair, Billy and Mandy was better than Con Carne. Like, sorry, not sorry.
XLR. Final episode premiere
Mega
date,
Sex,
15th
I mean-
of January 2005.
XLR, Saturday nights at 9.
Megas XLR was greenlit from a successful Cartoons pilot and was an action comedy inspired by
Mega
mecha anime
Sex.
in which 2 slackers replaced the head of a mech with a muscle car and learned to pilot it in order to defend Earth. Despite its status as a cult classic today and its banger theme song, the show had poor ratings throughout its run and was cancelled after 2 seasons and 26 episodes. The Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff
Final
Girls!
episode premiere date 25th of March
And
2005.
Buttercup have dedicated their lives to fighting crime and fighting forces of evil. Wow.
Another classic coming from a What a Cartoon pilot, The Powerpuff Girls was created by Craig McCracken and centered around 3
was
artificially
crackin'-malackin'
created
on that show,
superpowered
dude.
sisters living with their
Busted it out.
father/creator
So
Professor
good.
Utonium as they have to balance kindergarten with protecting Townsville. Despite some rough test screenings, the show became a critical ratings and merchandising success, becoming one of the most successful shows on Cartoon Network. After its 4th season, the show had a theatrically released movie, which didn't find the same success as the show itself, leading to McCracken leaving the series, with seasons 5 and 6 being produced by Chris
the reboot
Savino.
wasn't very good.
Him again. Cartoon Network offered a 7th season to Savino and McCracken, but they both turned it down, feeling that the show should finish. It ended with 6 seasons and 78 episodes, making up 136 segments. Since then, it received specials in 2009 and 2014, and a reboot series in 2016, though McCracken was only involved in the 2009 special.
That's why it didn't take off, man, because McCracken-a-lackin' was lacking the Kraken on the new show, and that's why it failed. It flopped.
Powerpuff Girls also bizarre.
It was missing that McCrack.
Ollie received an entirely separate anime spin-off in 2006 called Powerpuff Girls Z, which isn't a Mandela effect or anything. It was real. And
Yeah,
it
it was real.
52 episodes. Star Wars Clone Wars. Final episode premiere date.
Oh, so good. I need to rewatch the Clone Wars. It was so good. Just peak. It was just so good. My dad watched this with me. Like, it was so good.
26th of March, 2005.
Yes.
You don't want to miss it. Star Wars Clone Wars.
Star Wars Clone Wars.
If you like Star Wars, Clone Wars is worth watching.
It was Genndy Tartakovsky's 3rd show with Cartoon Network, as well as the first Star Wars TV show to air since the 1980s. Set between episodes 2 and 3 of the Star
General
Wars prequels,
Clanker
the
was
Clone Wars
scary.
animated
Yeah,
series gave
freaking
fans
General
their first
Clanker
look
was
at
crazy.
future fan favorite bad guys, General Grievous and Asajj Ventress.
Yeah,
Seasons 1 and 2
Ventress. Oh, she a Sith. That was so good. She was scary too, dude.
contain short, 4-minute action-packed episodes, while the episodes in season 3 were
A baddie.
longer. The positive reception to the show led George Lucas to develop the 2008 Clone Wars series, which retained some of the angular character design elements from this show. Star Wars Clone Wars ended after 3 seasons and 25 episodes.
So good.
Baby Looney Tunes.
Baby Looney Tunes! I watched this.
Episode premiere date 20th of April
I
2005.
love this show. We're so cute,
Baby
man.
Looney Tunes.
This preschool series featured infant versions of classic Looney Tunes
I
characters.
watched this.
The show
I'm not
originally aired on
ashamed.
Kids WB,
I'm not
slightly
ashamed
before
I watched
premiering
this.
on Cartoon Network, where it ran new episodes for 4 seasons between 2002
They were so
and
cute.
2005.
Oh, Duck Dodgers!
In a 24.5 centuries, so good!
Wood. Babe!
In the 24
Wife?
and 1/2 century.
Duck Dodgers. Final episode premiere date 22nd of April 2005. A Warner Brothers collaboration, this sci-fi comedy starred
Such
Daffy
a
Duck as
good
Duck Dodgers,
show.
a parody of the classic
Under
sci-fi hero
freaking rated.
Buck
It was so
Rogers.
funny.
Duck Dodgers was notable for its use of meta-humor, parodies and cultural references, as well as a theme song sung by Tom Jones, which I can never get out of my head once I remember this show existed. The series ran for 2.5 seasons on Cartoon Network before switching over to the new standalone Boomerang channel midway through season 3, after which it ended with 3 seasons and 39 episodes.
So good.
Pet Alien. Final episode premiere date 21st.
Okay, this show, I vaguely remembered it. I never watched an episode because it just looked dumb. No, Skipper.
of August 2005.
Skipper. Every time.
Then watch the new show Pet Alien, premiering.
Pet Alien was a French
Ooh.
USA CGI series based off the Muncie toy line of the same name, about a boy whose life is changed when he becomes the guardian to 5 mischievous aliens. The series was poorly received due to its cheap animation, weak writing and poor
What the
humour,
frick is that?
leading to Cartoon Network dropping the show after 1 season, which tracks for me because I remember regularly changing the channel whenever the show came on. A second season was produced, but wasn't shown on Cartoon Network. Instead, the show moved to Kabillion, whatever that is.
What?
Sunday Pants. Final episode premiere date 30th of October, 2005.
What is this? I don't remember this. Sunday Pants?
Sunday
What the
Pants
frick
was
is
a
this?
short-lived anthology series of international
I
shorts.
don't remember this.
Some of which were created originally for the show. Cartoons were interspersed with comedic live-action musical segments
Do
from
not
comedy band
remember.
The Slacks, and the show's theme song was performed by Pixies guitarist Joey Santiago. The show ran throughout October 2005
Yeah, it looks so
and was slated
stupid,
to have
hi,
a second
Jane.
season, but it never aired. The most notable shorts were Mon Stories, which later became its own show on Boomerang, and The Amazing Adrenalini Brothers, which aired independently in the UK, Europe, Canada, and Australia. Atomic Betty. Final episode premiered
Atomic
10th
Betty,
of December
yes!
2005.
Atomic Betty. Catch the sneak preview.
Atomic Betty
I thought
was
she
a
was so
Canadian
cute.
French sci-fi comedy about a sci-fi obsessed schoolgirl who's secretly a famous interstellar crime fighter traversing the galaxy to keep law and order. The series only ran for season 1 and 8 episodes of season 2 before being dropped by Cartoon
My
Network due
VTuber.
to low viewership. Internationally,
My
though, the
Oshi,
series
Betty.
ran for 3 seasons between 2004
I love her
and
little
2008.
ponytail.
The full series wouldn't air in the US until 2010, when it was picked up by The Hub. Teen Titans. Final
Yes!
episode premiere date 16th of
My
January
show!
2006.
1, 2, 3, 4, go!
This Cartoon Network Warner Brothers collaboration, headed up by Glenn Murakami, was based around teenage DC superheroes. Balancing humor, drama, comedy, and action, the series became one of the
Why did they have to ruin it with Teen Titans Go? Like, por qué? Why? Why? The original Teen Titans was so good. Why they cancel it and replace it with dumb show?
most popular shows on Cartoon Network, and has gone on to have one of its most enduring legacies. It followed Robin, Starfire, Cyborg, Raven, and Beast Boy as they fought villains from Titan's Tower. And the show
good.
blended Western and anime influences to turn some more obscure heroes and villains into household names. It also had a great theme song performed by
Yes.
Japanese pop rock group
Hi, Puffy Ami
You
Yumi.
might want to remember that name for later. Cartoon Network originally only planned for 4 seasons of Teen Titans, but the show was popular enough for them to order a 5th, which was followed by a TV movie which concluded the series.
So good.
Conflicting reasons behind the cancellation have been given. Some involved have pointed the finger at Warner Brothers.
Sorry, this reminds me of the thing that They had a Newgrounds thing for this. They had a Newgrounds thing for this! Ah!
Others at Cartoon Network, and yet more have said that longtime Cartoon Network merchandise partners Mattel expressed anger over the show's popularity when Bandai had the toy rights. A comedy spin-off, Teen Titans Go, began airing in 2013, and despite poor reception by fans of the original series, has gone on to become one of the most successful shows.
You could say he slayed into her team. Yeah.
Shows in Cartoon Network's history, becoming its longest running series ever. In 2019, the original Teen Titans appeared in a crossover movie with Teen Titans Go.
No.
Woolin Warriors. Final episode premiere date 11th of February 2006.
I don't remember this, but I do remember Shaolin Showdown, which was on Kids WB.
So, from one of Cartoon Network's most successful shows to one of its least. Arguably Cartoon Network's most disastrous debut,
I
Woolin
didn't watch
Warriors
this.
was an Americanized dub of the long-running Taiwanese puppet show Pili. Taking original footage from Pili, the English language script completely changed the show's tone from a serious action drama to a wacky comedy with a terrible theme song.
Woolin,
I'm dead!
Warriors!
The show was so bad that some executives at Toonami wanted the show to be cancelled before it even aired.
That's
And in a way,
hilarious!
they almost got their wish.
I don't know this song, dude. What do you mean ChaCha sing it? I didn't watch this.
Because the ratings were so terrible for Woolin Warriors that it was cancelled after only 2 episodes and never shown on Cartoon Network ever
That's
again.
hilarious.
Though the full series in all its terribly translated glory would later be made available online from Kids AOL.
Dude.
Winx Club. Final episode premiere date 2nd.
I actually didn't watch a lot of Winx Club. I don't remember why, but I didn't watch the show. It might have been because of my age and because I wasn't watching a lot of cartoons at the time. Yeah, I think that's why. I just didn't have time to invest in new shows. But yeah, I didn't watch Winx Club. This probably would have been a show I would have watched.
Of April 2006.
Winx Club, Monday through Friday.
Before Winx Club became a successful series on Nickelodeon, the first iteration of the show initially aired in the US on Cartoon Network. Following a group of magical, heroic dimension-hopping fairies, the Italian fantasy series debuted on...
Was it Spy Kids also Cartoon Network? Wasn't Spy Kids Cartoon? No, not Spy Kids. Totally Spies. I loved Totally Spies. I did not watch Winx Club, but I did watch Totally Spies, but I don't remember what network it played on.
Cartoon Network between 2005 and 2006, but only aired season 1 and a handful of episodes from season 2 before being dropped. In Italy, the series ran successfully for 4 seasons, before being given a second more successful run in the USA, with a revival by Nickelodeon in 2011 for 4 more additional seasons.
I think a bunch of people complained about like the rebooted style that came from Winx Club, but that's all I remember.
Winx Club also had an adult live-action spin-off that aired on Netflix in 2021. Zix. Final episode premiere date, 8th of April, 2006.
The frick is a Zix?
Defeating Deep is the first step.
Zix.
The galaxy depends on us.
Zix was a Canadian sci-fi action series
which
combined live action and CGI animation.
I don't remember.
The story
this at
was
all.
about an intergalactic agent who crash lands on Earth and discovers it's secretly a hotbed for illegal alien activity, so she has to enter the cyber dimension to stop the space criminals.
Xenon of the 21st century?
The show ran for 3 seasons in Canada on YTV, but in the US only aired 1 season and a handful of season 2 episodes before being dropped by Cartoon Network. For some reason, Zix
It gives me Code Lyoko vibes.
Was broadcast in Toonami's anime blog, which probably didn't help it, because people specifically wanting to watch animation aren't going to stick around for random live action shows being thrown in. Foreshadowing. Firehouse Tales. Final episode premiere date, 7th of May 2006.
Pass.
Firehouse Tales was a preschool show from Warner Brothers about sentient fire engines, kinda like Cars, but actually this one debuted
So this is like Thomas the Train.
First. The show aired as part of Cartoon Network's short-lived and horribly named Tickle You preschool block, which existed between 2005 and 2006. Once Tickle You was cancelled, Firehouse Tales simply played out the rest of the episodes in its contract and then ended, which is going to be a running theme for a lot of these preschool shows over the next few years. Justice League Unlimited. Final episode premiere date, 13th of May 2006. The follow-up to Justice League and directed by Bruce Timm, Justice League Unlimited served as the finale to the entire DC animated universe. Continuing the adventures of DC's most celebrated heroes, Unlimited broadened the scope of the original show into exploring more varied aspects of the DC universe beyond just the stories of the main characters. Like Justice League, Unlimited was only planned for 2 seasons, but its success led to it continuing. Cartoon Network ordered a 3rd and final season, and the series concluded after 3 seasons and 39 episodes. Gordon the Garden Gnome. Final episode premiere date, 29th of May 2006.
No, skip.
Gordon the Garden Gnome was a UK preschool series aimed at teaching children about
okay, I was gonna say, like, I've never heard of this. What?
Voiced by British gardening show presenter Alan Titchmarsh, who I knew a distant relative of growing up, but I'm only hearing about this show now, apparently. 52 episodes were made in the UK, and they all aired on Cartoon Network as part of its Tickle You block, but the show never had reruns in the US after its final episode due to Tickle You's cancellation.
You got gnomed.
Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi.
Yeah!
Final episode premiere date, 27th of June 2006. So this cartoon was based around J-rock band Puffy Amiyumi, who you should remember from the Teen Titans series. Band members Ami and Yumi were the main characters, although in the show they were voiced by Janice Kawaye and Greta Lyle as they tour the world performing concerts. The real Ami and Yumi appeared in brief live-action segments throughout the series, and the show takes its humour from making lots of references to Japanese pop culture. creator Sam Register developed the show out of a genuine fondness for the band and just wanting to promote them, which clears up some of the...
Wait, that's really cute. They were such diehard fans of the idols. They made an animated series about them. That's dedication. That's like loving a VTuber so much that you have like an entire animated series dedicated to them.
Questions I always had about the show, like firstly, why it even came into existence in the first place, and secondly, if it was chasing the anime trend, which I always assumed it was,
yeah, gateway
why didn't it try to
weebdom.
look more like anime? It turns out it wasn't trying to do that at all. Sam Register was just a genuine fan of the band, which is kind of wholesome in a way.
Yeah.
A management shake-up at Cartoon Network would see Register lose his position as the channel's senior vice president, and with it, unfortunately, his role as showrunner for the show.
The blue one reminds me of Fifi.
This led to Hi Puffy Amiyumi's abrupt cancellation, with the plug being pulled after 33 episodes, leaving a handful of final episodes unaired. Register would only return to Cartoon Network in 2020 as the president of its animation production studio. Princess Natasha. Final episode premiere date, 1st of July 2006.
Do not remember this show.
Princess Natasha was a Flash animated comedy that also aired on AOL Kids. The show was about Natasha, a princess from the fictional country of Zaravia, which has all its traditional aspects in one half of the country and its modern aspects in the other. Between 2003 and 2006,
Homestar
44
Runner
episodes were produced in total, though I don't know how many aired on Cartoon Network because there's virtually no information about this show being on there at all.
Yeah, I don't remember
But the
this.
books based on the series still note as seen on Cartoon Network, so some of them must have aired, presumably.
Worship a guy.
Gerald McBoing Boing. Final episode premiere date, 18th of August,
Gerald
2006.
McBoing Boing?
And this one. And this one.
Gerald McBoing Boing was a Canadian co-production based on the animated short from the 1950s and aimed at preschool audiences.
McBoing Boing.
It aired as part of the Tickle You block and ended
McBoing
after
Boing.
1 season and 13
McBoing
episodes
Boing.
following Tickle You's
McBoing
cancellation. Dragon Hunters. Final episode premiere date, 6th of September 2006.
Oh, this is bangers.
Dragon Hunters was a French adventure series about a pair of down-on-their-luck dragon
I've never
hunters
seen this.
trying to make ends meet in a fantasy setting of floating islands. The series had a really catchy theme song by post-punk band The Cure and was notable for having some more graphic and suggestive subject
Wait,
matter
why is the music in the background Spyro the Dragon?
that was acceptable in France but potentially controversial in the US. Unfortunately, these more mature themes led to the series having a patchy release schedule, with some episodes being left out and the show sometimes going months without new episodes. Cartoon Network only aired the first season in the US, though the show did get a season 2 in France, as well as a theatrically released movie, which I watched a couple of years ago and it's pretty good, worth checking out. I feel like this was a show that was massively slept on back in the day.
Wow, wow, wow.
Team Galaxy. Final episode premiere date, 2nd of December 2006.
Defenders are cleared for takeoff.
The animation is very Totally Spies
Another
coded.
French acquisition, Team Galaxy was about a class of teenagers
Do not
in
remember
training to
this,
become
but the
interstellar
animation is
peacekeepers.
Totally Spies.
Very clearly taking influence from
Oh,
anime
okay, yeah, I never saw this because it wasn't in my country.
in its art style. This series was from the same studio that created Totally Spies and
Yeah.
was mostly 2D animated, but did use CGI for its space battles. Cartoon Network allegedly paid around $17 million for the rights to the 52-episode series, but dropped it after just 13, suggesting that the ratings weren't the best. The Life and Times of Juniper Lee.
Juniper
Final
Lee, I
episode
remember
premiere
this.
date, 15th of December 2006.
Oh, no, you don't. The life
A Cartoon Network original, The Life and Times of Juniper Lee, was an action comedy about a girl granted superhuman abilities to keep the balance between magical forces in her hometown. The show was cancelled after 40 episodes over 3 seasons, with the final season ending on a cliffhanger in which one of Juniper's friends discovers her secret powers.
Imagine never knowing. And the whole thing ends on a cliffhanger. F my life. I wasn't that invested in it, but I've seen a few episodes.
This would suggest that creator Judd Winnick intended the series to go on for at least another season, but given the inconsistent air times for new episodes and the final 2 episodes only ever being shown online...
Yeah, I also thought that this was a Disney cartoon, not Cartoon Network, but...
Cartoon Network clearly had no interest in continuing the show. Despite that though, the life and times of Juniper Lee garnered a dedicated fanbase who hope to see Juniper's story get a proper conclusion one day. Crypto the Superdog. Final episode premiere date, 15th of December 2006. A Warner Brothers comedy series, this show was about Superman's best friend, the superpowered canine-caped crusader Crypto, as he takes on the animal sidekicks of various DC villains and saves the day. Gotta admit, I quite like the retro 1960s Hanna-Barbera art style. The show ran for 2 seasons.
Yeah,
and
very
39
reminiscent
episodes,
of like the Jetsons.
though season 2 only had half the episode count of season 1,
style.
suggesting the decision to end the show happened sometime before season 2 aired.
I love the Jetsons.
Yoko Jakamoko Toto. Final episode premiere. Find anything. Probably 2006 or 2007.
I do not remember the show.
Yoko Jakamoko Toto.
Yoko Jakamoko Toto was an obscure UK
Okay, it was in the UK. I was gonna say
preschool show about South American animals having adventures in nature. I can't find the dates that this even aired on Cartoon Network, but probably sometime in 2006 or 7, as it was part of Tickle U, so that's why it got cancelled. Peppa Pig.
No way! Peppa Pig was Cartoon Network? Really? Really? Was this UK only? Because I know that it eventually got to Amazon Prime. Because my kids watched it. But is this show a lot older than I thought it was? I didn't know that this show was this old. 2007? I thought it was like, when my kids were growing up, I thought it was like a newer show.
Final episode air date, 1st of January 2007.
Once Peppa sets her mind to something, she doesn't give up.
I never watched this as a kid. Like, my kids watched Peppa Pig.
Less obscure is the notoriously successful UK preschool show Peppa Pig, about a family of anthropomorphic pigs that has been airing continuously since 2004. In America, the show is
Okay,
most
so it was only UK for a while, and then eventually it got to Amazon Prime. But that's so interesting. Funny enough, funny story, my kids watched Peppa Pig, and they adopted little British accents. They would say things like the British way because of Peppa Pig. And they were addicted to this show. Like, all of my kids watched Peppa Pig. All of them. Remarkably, they can do a British accent really, really, really well. And I blame Peppa Pig.
With Nick Jr., where it has aired for the last 12 years, but its US debut was actually on Cartoon Network as part of Tickle U. Interestingly, the Cartoon Network version of the show was redubbed with American voices, but every broadcast of the show...
Tell me you didn't show them Caillou. Absolutely not. Caillou is a freaking brat. Why would I? No. I hated Caillou growing up. I had that as a show, an option. My little brother watched Caillou. And I was like, little brother, why do you have to watch garbage? Caillou isn't even good. It's not. No, I didn't show it to my kids.
Vince has used the original British voice track.
Daddy, can we help you find your glasses?
Only season 1 aired on Cartoon Network and was dropped after Tickle U got cancelled. The show then
Caillou
moved
was
to
such
Noggin before
trash.
moving again to Nick Jr. and Nickelodeon in 2011. On the 31st of January...
I did watch Franklin, but I liked Little Bear and Rupert a lot more. And Rupert was more of a UK-based show from PBS Kids. I don't know if you guys remember Rupert. But Rupert was a little white bear. And he was, pretty sure it was UK. It was a UK show. But Rupert was really good, and Little Bear, those were my shows.
2007, the city of Boston, Massachusetts was brought to a day-long standstill.
Oswald was good, too.
That morning, concerning electronic devices had been discovered in various locations around the city, with no obvious explanation as to what they were or how they got there. The devices seemed to be clustered around high-traffic areas and places key to the city's infrastructure. Concerned for public safety, authorities called in the bomb squad, and subsequently major freeways and entire sections of the city were locked down to prevent citizens from getting too close to what were at the time theorized to be improvised explosive devices.
What the frick is happening? Guys, what the frick is happening? What? Huh? What? I'm gonna have to, sorry guys, I have to rewind. What the frick is happening?
On the 31st of January 2007, the city of Boston, Massachusetts was brought to a day-long standstill. That morning, concerning electronic devices had been discovered in various locations around the city, with no obvious explanation as to what they were or how they got there.
Huh?
The devices seemed to be clustered around high-traffic areas and places key to the city's infrastructure. Concerned for public safety, authorities called in the bomb squad, and subsequently major freeways and entire sections of the city were locked down to prevent citizens from getting too close to what were at the time theorized to be improvised explosive devices. Boston's police and politicians alike tried to remain calm and devised the safest way to deal with the problem, until a heroic young soul working for the mayor took one look at the device and said, "Hey, isn't that a Moonanite?"
What the frick?
The devices were actually just LED plaques put up to promote the Aqua Teen Hunger.
Dude, this was just promo! They made like some kind of terrorist organization thing. Look for a promo!
Hunger Force movie as part of a guerrilla marketing campaign, and the city of Boston's insane reaction to discovering the plaques would soon become global news.
That's
While
crazy!
It's easy to look back and laugh the incident off now, back then it was serious.
Yeah, people probably came up with flat earth or conspiracy theories about this. This is crazy, dude.
Humiliated, Boston officials demanded retribution, and the incident would cost Cartoon Network $2 million and Cartoon Network president Jim Samples his job. Samples was replaced by Stuart Snyder, and in the same way that Samples came in to build Adult Swim into its own brand, Snyder had his own agenda to shake up the network, but we'll get into that shortly. Ellen's Acres. Final episode premiere date, 5th of February 2007.
Check out the exciting adventures of Ellen.
A short-lived US preschool series from Capital.
What? This was USA? I'm sorry, but what in the Dollar Tree Darla Dimple is this? Because this is weird.
Nike creator Larry Schwartz. Ellen's Acres was about an imaginative 5-year-old dreaming up adventures while playing in the roadside motel owned by her parents. Again, part of the Tickle You block, the series only ran for a few weeks in the US before being pulled from the airwaves.
Dollar Tree who? Darla Dimple? Darla Dimple was the little blonde girl in Cats Don't Dance, the movie. She kind of looks like Shirley Temple almost, but she's evil. Anyway, sorry. Old people references.
After showing 26 of the 52 episodes produced. Despite being an American show, the series only got its full release on Cartoon Network UK and Ireland, airing on their preschool block Cartoonito, which proved to be more successful than Tickle You. Harry and His Bucket Full of Dinosaurs. Final episode premiere date, 26th of April 2007.
Drive fun cars and have all
Harry and
His Bucket Full of Dinosaurs was a UK-Canadian preschool show based on the British children's books of the same name.
Yeah, I didn't watch
the show
this
is about
either.
5-year-old Harry, who
Not
can enter
my
the
country.
dino world by jumping into his toy bucket, where his dinosaur toys come to life. Another victim of the Tickle You cancellation, the Cartoon Network broadcast was cancelled after one season, though a second season did air in the UK and Canada. The Life and Times of Juniper Lee Shorts. Final episode premiere date, 14th of May 2007.
Okay, we give up.
These were a series of 2-minute mini episodes following the characters of the show on super short comedic adventures. Only 6 shorts were ever made, and strangely, they only began to air after the main series had been cancelled. Also, just a heads up, between 2007 and 2008, Cartoon Network really experimented with this short spin-off format for a bunch of the shows, so while they are in this list, there really isn't that much to say about any of them. Fantastic Four, World's Greatest Heroes. Final episode premiere date, 4th of July 2007.
I don't remember this one either.
Susan Storm,
like Justice League, yeah, but
a
not
co-production
Fantastic
between
Four.
Marvel and Cartoon Network Europe Studios. Fantastic Four, World's Greatest Heroes was based off the famous team of superheroes from the Marvel Comics. The US airing of this show was erratic from the get-go. The series had 26 episodes, but Cartoon Network only aired 12, often out of order and with months between new releases. The show stopped after the airing of its 12th episode, which was actually episode 15 of the series, but whatever, only getting a few reruns before dropping off the airwaves entirely. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Love this show.
Final episode premiere date, 7th of August 2007.
Sorry. Don't you worry, we'll be there soon.
These shorts aired between seasons 4 and 5 of the main show,
Cheese was
expanding
the
on
goat.
the antics of the imaginary friends. In total, 18 shorts were produced. Squirrel Boy. Final episode premiere
Squirrel
date,
Boy.
27th of September 2007.
Sorry, pets. Rodney J. Squirrel just set the bar a little higher.
Cartoon Network
Potatoes.
original comedy Squirrel Boy from Duckman creator Everett Peck was about a boy named Andy and his
Squirrel
delusional
Boy.
anthropomorphic pet squirrel, Rodney, who always seemed to have a bizarre plan to get rich quick. The show ran
So, Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
for 2 seasons and 26 episodes between 2006 and 2007.
Frick, sorry. What the frick happened? Sorry.
And unfortunately never really stood out among competing cartoons, which is why Cartoon Network likely didn't continue it. Animated sitcoms like Squirrel Boy, Camp Lazlo, and My Gym
Squirrel
Partner's a
Boy.
Monkey all seem to be competing for the same real estate around this time, and let's be honest, we're all playing second fiddle to SpongeBob.
Yeah.
The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
The best
Final
show!
episode premiere date, 9th of November 2007.
I like chocolate milk.
Fun together. But like messing with
Sorry, I'm
The
still
other
thinking about
spin-off to Grim
cheese.
and Evil, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, was about 2 friends who defeat the Grim Reaper in a wager, forcing him to become their best friend. Typical of Maxwell Atoms shows, the series was noted for its offbeat, bizarre, and sometimes dark humour. Billy and Mandy was the series Atoms chose to continue after being given the choice between this and Evil Con Carne by Cartoon
Jamaican
Network,
Reaper.
and it seems like he made the right choice. The series became a hit, airing 6
Such
seasons
a
and
hit.
3 TV movies to high ratings after breaking off from Grim and Evil. And this is where things get a little bit spicy, because after Billy and Mandy's finale, an Underfist spin-off was in the works about Hoss Delgado. But Cartoon Network executive and future president Michael Overlane apparently hated the cruder aspects of Maxwell's humour so much that he fired him for ruining the reputation of Cartoon Network, despite the prolonged success of the shows he'd created. Code Lyoko. Final episode premiere date, 17th of November 2007.
Stop an evil villain. Santa's up to something.
I loved Code Lyoko. I watched the heck out of Code Lyoko.
Save the world.
Code Lyoko is a French 4-head-inspired sci-fi action series using 2D and 3D
Classic.
4-head animation about 4 heads who must travel to the 4-head
About the 4 heads that must travel. I mean, he's not wrong.
dimension. Oh, no, wait, sorry. Code Lyoko is a French anime-inspired sci-fi
But you know what? Even though it was like French made, it aired in the US. It was so good.
action series using 2D and 3D animation about teenagers who must travel to Lyoko, the digital realm, to stop an evil computer virus. The series saw 97 episodes over its run, of which 88 aired on Cartoon
Another
Network
fever
in the
dream.
US.
I watched a ton of this show though.
For some reason stopping a week after the finale
It
aired
felt
in
like a
France,
fever dream
but
with a
before it
3D
aired
though.
in America. The missing episodes were available on Cartoon Network's online video service, but this was poorly advertised, so many fans never knew that these episodes existed or were available. The reason given for dropping the show was simply a lack of support from executives, which seems odd seeing as they'd let it run for 88 episodes.
Yeah, like, so upper management just said, no more Code Lyoko. It was a good show.
Little Robots. Final episode premiere date, sometime in
remember this show.
2007.
Put things together and take them apart. We'll have to make a
Similar to Yoko Jakamoko Toto, I couldn't track down the specific air dates
that's
for the
British.
show. Little Robots was a series of UK preschool stop-motion shorts based on a children's book about abandoned robots in a scrap heap, creating their
cute.
own world from the waste around them. The series aired as part of Tickle You at some point between 2005 and 2007, and obviously went down with Tickle You once that block came to an end.
Tickle me.
Camp Lazlo Shorts. Final episode
I
premiere
remember
date,
Camp Lazlo,
7th of January 2008. This was a series of 2-minute shorts that ran sporadically alongside the main series for most of its run. In total, 14 mini episodes were broadcast. Codename Kids Next Door.
They used to have a really fun Cartoon Network site where they had so many Flash games. Some of those Flash games were, you had to use your dial-up internet in order to access this. But when the dial-up internet allowed, I was playing Powerpuff Girls on the sledding, like Powerpuff Girls sledding. And then what was another one? There was Dexter's Laboratory with chickens. And then there was an entire Codename Kids Next Door game. And that was the GOAT. Like they were all Flash games. And there's no way to access that anymore. They just nuked the whole thing. There's no way to access any of them. Anyway, it was peak. It was so good. The old website, oh, it was so good. If it was still alive, I would go on that site and like just stream a bunch of those games for fun. Yeah, rip Flash, man.
Final episode premiere date, 21st of January 2008.
A safe performance.
Codename Kids Next Door. Either you're in.
What do you mean there's a website with them now? No way. No way. Tell my mods about it. Because if there's a way I could play these on stream, I would.
Kids Next Door was another hit show greenlit from a successful cartoons
Yeah, like
pilot.
where?
This action comedy was built on parodying classic spy tropes and was about a group of child secret agents using creative ways to foil the plots of nefarious
Thank you,
adults and
Sams.
teens.
Yeah, find them for
The show
me. I'll
proved to be
play them on
immensely
stream.
popular, running for 78 episodes over 6 seasons, as well as 2 TV movies.
You
the
are the
second of which
sweetest little
concluded
cutie
the
pie.
series. Cartoon Network's policy at the time was that no show should exceed 6 seasons in order.
Did you play Neopets? I played Neopets. I sold my Neopets for textbooks for college, but yeah, I played Neopets.
To keep things fresh, and so KND simply ended once it hit that milestone. Series creator Mr. Warburton did have plans for a sequel titled Galactic Kids Next Door, but Cartoon Network passed on the series. The Land Before Time. Final episode premiere.
But that wasn't a show. Those were movies. Did they have a show too?
Date 21st of January 2008.
Okay, wait. Okay,
a
wait.
US series
I
based on the
vaguely
classic
remember
children's
this.
dinosaur movies of the same name, this series follows the continued adventures of the characters from the films. 26
They had
episodes were
several
produced
movies.
in all of which
Several.
aired on Cartoon Network, but the series was taken off the air fairly soon after the final episode and hasn't rerun since, suggesting low views.
Yeah.
My Gym Partner's a Monkey shorts.
I
Final
remember
episode
these.
premiere date 22nd of February 2008.
I admire your tempo, but I believe...
Like the Camp Laszlo shorts, these 13 shorts were all 2 minutes long and ran intermittently alongside the main show for the majority of its run. Camp Laszlo. Final episode premiere date 27th of March 2008.
My brother really likes Camp Laszlo.
The brainchild of Rocco's Modern Life creator Joe Murray, Camp Laszlo was a series about a spider monkey and his animal friends at a scouts camp with...
You know what? Yeah, I see it now. The Rocco's Modern Life cartoon style. Yeah, I see it now.
Humor very similar to Rocco's. The show was a success, running for 5 seasons and 61 episodes, but was suddenly cancelled when Murray annoyed Cartoon Network executives by refusing to appear in a McDonald's commercial. Which makes this the pettiest reason why a show has been cancelled that we know about, because who really knows what else is said behind those boardroom doors? Ben 10. Final episode
Ben
premiere
10, I
date
watched this
15th of April 2008.
No fair!
One of Cartoon Network's most lucrative series, Ben 10 is a sci-fi action show about Ben Tennyson, a 10-year-old boy who becomes attached to a mysterious alien device that allows him to transform into various alien species and now must protect the world from extraterrestrial threats with the help of his cousin Gwen and grandpa Max. The show quickly became a merchandising juggernaut and a key IP of Cartoon Network, spawning a franchise of sequels, movies, toys and games estimated to have made over $6 billion. The original series ran for 4 seasons between 2005 and 2008 for a total of 52 episodes before being continued in the sequel series Ben 10 Alien Force. Stormhawks. Final episode premiere date 23rd of May 2008.
Don't remember this.
We gotta stop him.
A Canadian CGI action
Okay,
adventure co-production
Canadian.
set in a mountainous fantasy world. Stormhawks followed a band of young Sky Knights protecting their mountaintop home from the forces of evil. Despite decent critical reception, Cartoon Network only aired the show's first season of 26 episodes, due to middling ratings and toy sales. A second season of the show was produced in Canada, but wouldn't air in the US until it was picked up by Disney XD in 2011. It unfortunately also got caught up in the push for more live action, and may have had a better chance were it not for CN Real, which is sadly a case for a lot of shows in this era. Also, for me, this series occupies the same mental real estate as Dragonflies. Those are two separate...
Yo! I recognize these toys! They had fairies! They had fairies of these when I was a little kid! You wind it up, and then boom! The little fairy goes... Brrr. They had boy ones too? I didn't know that!
Things... just to clarify for anyone else who needed that.
Yo. Where'd the volume go? Yo. Where'd the volume go? Hello?
Class of 3000 was a musical animated series created
copyright.
by
Okay, DMCA.
most famous for making up one half of the hip-hop duo Outkast.
I was like,
Andre
what
was
happened?
originally approached by Adult Swim to license an album which would be turned into an Adult Swim show, but he wasn't interested in having a series unless he could be creatively involved in its production, and Class of 3000 was a series that resulted from those discussions. The show is set in Atlanta, following global music star Sonny Bridges, voiced by Andre, who gives up his lucrative career to become a music teacher. Class of 3000 was critically acclaimed for its storytelling
I didn't
and
watch
music,
a lot of it.
and has a cult following to this day, but didn't have great ratings at the time, and production was difficult to match up with Andre's schedule. The show also received a lack of executive support, as Mike Lazo and Jim Samples, who had been the main guys backing the show to get greenlit, left shortly after it went into production. Class of 3000 ended after 2 seasons and 28 episodes. Out of Jimmy's Head. Final episode premiere date, 29th of May 2008.
I don't remember this.
Out of Jimmy's Head was Cartoon Network's first original foray into live action since Big Bag ended in 1998, a trend which would dominate Stu Snyder's tenure as Cartoon Network's president. A spin-off to the 2006 film Reanimated, the show is about a boy who receives a brain transplant from a dead cartoonist and can subsequently interact with his characters. Like most of the shows during Snyder's push for live action, the series received terrible reviews and was cancelled after just 1 series of 20 episodes. Cartoon Network essentially tried to bury the series, never airing it or making it available again after its cancellation. 10
I feel like this would have done better like on Disney or something.
episodes with the original English audio are now considered lost media.
Just the concept.
The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy
Let's go.
Shorts. Final episode premiere date, 8th of April 2008. These were really 3 different series of shorts produced for Billy and Mandy. The first were Billy's Birthday Shorties from 2006. A series of 8 2-minute shorts about Billy's antics around receiving cakes and presents and throwing a party on his birthday.
Wait, the voice of Billy plays Zim? I should have connected the dots on that.
Irwin Hearts Mandy, a series of 4 2-minute shorts about Irwin's one-sided crush that aired on Valentine's Day in 2007. As well as 9 additional miscellaneous 2-minute shorts which aired between 2007 and 2008. Squirrel Boy Shorts. Final episode premiere date, 10th of April 2008.
Hey, that wasn't so...
Similar to the shorts for Juniper Lee, Squirrel Boy only had 6 shorts produced and, for some reason, they only began to air after the ending of the main series. Ben 10 Shorts. Final episode premiere date, 8th of July 2008.
And a quarter to spare.
Not much to say here, it's exactly what you imagine, a bunch of Ben 10 minisodes that ran for a couple of minutes apiece. In total, 8 Ben 10 shorts were produced, all running alongside the show's 4th season.
George of the Jungle. Final episode premiere date, 17th of August 2008. A Canadian co-production reboot.
I'm telling you, the original movie is just so much better. The live action movie, the show was utter trash. I hated it, but it's because I liked the OG movie so much better.
The 1967 animated comedy, which itself was a parody of classic Tarzan stories. George of the Jungle was received poorly by younger audiences due to its cheap animation and comedy, and fans of the original due to changes in character and format. All 26 episodes aired on Cartoon Network before the show was cancelled. The series has since been revived in 2017 in Canada, but this new series
they
has not
they couldn't afford Brendan Fraser. It's so true.
aired in the US. Robot Boy. Final episode premiere date 17th of September 2008.
The brand new series of Robot Boy starts February 27th.
Created by Jan van Rysselberghe, Robot Boy was a UK-French co-production from Cartoon Network Europe, about a transforming robot who now lives with a 10-year-old boy after being on the run from an evil professor. The show debuted in the US just a few weeks after it premiered in Europe and ran for
My Life as a Teenage Robot!
52 episodes over its 2 seasons. Director Charlie Bean gave the show its stylized appearance, similar to the Tartakovsky and McCracken shows he'd worked on
Yeah, it looks like freaking My Life as a Teenage Robot.
previously. Bean
Whoa,
left the show
his mom was thick! Why is he looking at his... Guys, I'm sorry, this is the thumbnail. Hold on, I need to send this to doctor. Crazy.
after season 1, and season 2's production was troubled as the new directors clashed with the production company, delaying the show and contributing to its cancellation. Chopsocky Chucks. Final episode premiere date 21st of November 2008. Chopsocky Chucks was a UK-Canadian co-production between Cartoon Network Europe, Aardman and Wildbrain. An action comedy series about kung fu obsessed chickens battling their nemesis Dr. Wasabi, the show played off tropes from martial arts cinema. The series ran for 1 season of 26
Shaolin Showdown was better.
episodes, debuting in the US nearly a year after it did in Europe. Chopsocky Chucks received a poor reception, largely due to the lackluster writing and off-putting character design, with many viewers not being able to identify the main characters as
Like, what is this beakless abomination?
chickens. Also, everybody just thinks that the name sounds racist.
Yeah.
It's not. It's apparently just Australian slang for kung fu chickens, but Chopsocky Chucks just sounds wrong.
Yeah.
My Gym Partner's a Monkey.
I
Final
remember
episode
this
premiere
show.
date 27th of November 2008. A Cartoon Network original slapstick comedy, My Gym Partner's a Monkey followed Adam Lyon, a regular school kid who gets transferred to a school for animals due to a mix-up concerning his surname. The show ran for 4 seasons with 56 episodes, being cancelled after season 4 due to management changes happening at Cartoon Network and the new execs not being fond of the show. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Fosters, yeah.
Final episode premiere date 3rd of May 2009.
I thought they talked about this though.
So swing by Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends was an animated sitcom from Powerpuff Girls creator Craig McCracken and developed by Laura Faust. About a world in which imaginary friends are real. The series was set in an old Victorian mansion which served as a shelter for abandoned friends.
Underrated?
Following
No,
that,
I think
here's
it
imaginary
had
friend Blue,
really good
the
hype.
staff at the home, and the huge and expansive cast of imaginary friends that lived there.
Yeah.
The show was one of the most popular on Cartoon Network during
Yes.
its run, lasting 6 seasons and 79 episodes.
Yeah, what's up
ending
with the
only
Kingdom
due to
Hearts
Cartoon
soundtrack
Network's
here,
policy
though?
of no show exceeding 6 seasons. McCracken expressed sadness at the show ending, but admitted they were beginning to struggle for new ideas near the end of its run, and was grateful that he was able to give the show a proper conclusion. Update. Since recording this bit, we got some confirmed Foster's Home news.
No way.
A preschool spin-off titled Foster's Fun Time for Imaginary Friends has been greenlit, with Craig McCracken returning as showrunner.
No
The series will be aimed at younger viewers and feature a majority new cast of imaginary friends.
What?
However, Blue and Madam Foster have been confirmed as returning characters.
No way.
As of yet, there's no confirmation on exactly when or where Foster's Fun Time will air, but it is being produced by Cartoon Network under Hanna-Barbera Studios Europe.
No way.
Transformers Animated. Final episode premiere date 23rd of May 2009.
Check out new episodes
I don't remember the Transformers series.
Tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Transformers Animated was an action series for the new 2007 range of Hasbro's popular Transformers.
My brother
toy
never
robots.
watched it, so I never
the
sat down
featured
to
all the
see
classic
it.
Autobots and Decepticons, but was set in a standalone timeline separate from previous
My
series
nephew
and
would love
movies.
this show.
The show was cancelled after 3 seasons and 42 episodes due to Hasbro wanting to launch their own network, which would materialise in 2010 as The Hub.
His favorite character is Shockwave.
Brain Rush. Final episode premiere date, 22nd of July,
Brain Rush.
2009. Brain Rush was a live-action game show which debuted as part of CN Real, an ill-fated new block of live-action content heavily promoted by Stu Snyder during the late 2000s. Set in theme parks which sponsored the show, random guests would find themselves becoming contestants when they unwittingly sat next to the host on a roller coaster and had to answer trivia questions for cash prizes.
Oh, that's cool.
Brain Rush only lasted 6
Oh, wait, I
episodes
remember
and wasn't
this.
renewed
Oh,
due to the
yeah.
overwhelmingly negative audience reaction to both the show and
I remember the show. I remembered it being kind of fun.
CN Real in general. One episode of Brain Rush is considered lost media to this day. Slamball.
I feel like that would make really good live action content. You know what I mean? You get on a crazy roller coaster. You have to answer like questions or whatever before the game. You know, the coaster finishes.
Final episode premiere date 2nd of August 2009.
Imagine enjoying a theme park, but then a dude starts asking questions. But I think you did it for money.
Slamball is a game which is basically basketball but with trampolines, which
I don't remember
admittedly
this.
sounds pretty cool.
Why does this feel like Cartoon Network trying to be like Nickelodeon with the whole Slime Time Live sort of stuff? You know, like the game shows that they had, Temple Run and, you know, Slime Time Live and like a bunch of other things. Like, this is what this kind of feels like, especially with the roller coaster one.
But upon further inspection, is not a fucking cartoon. Games from the 2008 Slamball season aired exclusively on Cartoon Network as part of CN Amped, a short-lived sports block within CN Real. Both semi-finals were played live on Cartoon Network, but the show was cancelled before the final itself, meaning that it just quietly never aired. Thumb Wrestling Federation. Final episode premiere date 8th of August 2009.
I do not remember this.
Previously airing on Nicktoons and Kids WB, Thumb Wrestling Federation was a live-action show about a fictional thumb war tournament which parodied pro wrestling. Season 3 of the show debuted on Cartoon Network in 2009, with episodes typically clocking in at 3 to 4 minutes
This
long,
feels like a fever
chronicling
dream.
the thumb wrestling rivalry between the mighty Dexteras and the evil Sinistras. Billionaire bad guy Bucks Gazillion of the Sinistras was the
Bucks
eventual
Gazillion.
champion. I'm not entirely sure why it was cancelled, but whenever a short format series like this goes off air, I tend to just think an
Mucha
executive
Lucha did
took
do
one
it
look at
better,
and
yeah, Kids
thought,
WB.
we could just replace that with more ads. Bobby Says. Final episode premiere date,
I don't remember
23rd
this.
of September 2009.
Is that Tony Hawk?
Especially you, Tony.
Yeah!
Bobby says manage your anger.
Bobby Says was another CN Real show featuring child actor Bobby J. Thompson visiting celebrities around LA and commenting over video clips to give kids advice, which is not a concept for a TV show, that's just a string of words. Like from the clips I've seen, this kid goes up to someone famous and tries to banter and then pulls out
The
a phone
original streamer guy. It's the original I Show Speed.
to show them a random video, and then it awkwardly cuts to that video with Bobby commenting over it, except the recording is very clearly from a sound booth somewhere else, and all he's doing is saying corny shit like, remember kids, always believe in yourself. The show is actually like just nothing. There's nothing there, so it's no surprise that, similar to Brain Rush, the show was a critical and ratings flop, only lasting 6 episodes, 5 of which are lost media.
Crazy.
Despite its low ratings, it's possible that the show may have been cancelled anyway, due to Thompson wanting out of the series very early on. He says it was to focus more on his acting career, but I think he just knew this one was a stinker. The Mr. Men Show. Final episode premiere date, 19th of October 2009.
Show. That
I know there were like cartoon stickers or whatever.
Based on the
of this.
Mr. Men children's books by Roger Hargreaves, the Mr. Men show was a US-UK co-production between Cartoon Network and the UK's Channel 5.
I didn't watch
Unlike
this.
the 1990s animated series which adapted stories from the books, this version focused more on original stories and comedy skits. 2 versions of the show were created, one with American voices and one with British. 104 episodes were produced over its 2 seasons, all of which aired in both the US and the UK. However, the second season was given an unfavourable midday slot by Cartoon Network when kids watching would have been at school. The series only aired for a few days after the finale and wasn't picked up for a season 3. The Other Siders. Final episode premiere date, 30th of October 2009.
The Other Siders.
The Other Siders was a paranormal investigation show that debuted as part of
Are You Afraid of the Dark? I watched that show as a kid.
CN Real. Essentially, the show was just a bargain bin Most Haunted or Ghost Hunters, but with teenagers. Critical reception to the show was bad, but not quite as damning as some of the other live-action shows, so it did actually get a second season, making 23 episodes in total before it shut down. Not a single episode of The Other Siders has been lost, which, admittedly,
Are You Afraid
is
of the
a
Dark
very
was
low
so
bar of
peak.
success,
It was
but,
so
you know,
good.
Take what you can get. Round of applause. Well done.
Tales from the Crypt Keeper, yeah. That was a good
10
one,
count.
too.
Final episode premiere
Oh,
date,
who?
1st of November
Who?
2009.
Who? Who?
The same cannot be said for our next show,
Goosebumps,
however,
yeah.
10 Count. 10 Count was a top 10 style countdown show which aired as part of CN Amped. It listed top 10s in extreme sports like top 10 young guns and top 10 style masters, etc. The show was cancelled after just 5 episodes due to the lack of popularity of CN Amped, and 10 Count
Skipper.
is entirely lost media. I couldn't even find a trailer or
Skipper,
any
skipper,
clips
skipper,
of it. This
skipper,
is just
skipper, skipper,
random
skipper, skipper.
exports footage. Re-Evolution of Sports. Final episode premiere date, 1st of November
Ooh.
2009. Re-Evolution of Sports was an extreme sports documentary series, each episode following participants of a different extreme sports, for example, motocross, skydiving, snowboarding, etc. Airing as part of CN Amped, it was cancelled after just 4 episodes. But
What
the
the
entire
frick?
series was later made available through Apple TV, making Re-Evolution of Sports doubly special among CN Real shows because not only is it not
Yeah,
lost,
I don't remember
it's
the live
all
action
available
era.
through legitimate means. Ed, Edd and Eddy. Final episode premiere date, 8th of November 2009.
Wow, that was a long time. Think about that for Ed and Eddie. That's a long time for them to be running that series because it was a millennial staple. It ran for so long. Look how long it outlived all the other cartoons.
The last major show to end during the 2000s, Ed, Edd and Eddy was one of Cartoon Network's most successful shows ever, and its first to last 10 years on the network. That made it the longest running Cartoon Network show until 2023, when it was finally overtaken by Teen Titans Go. Knowing that Nickelodeon were also interested in the cartoon, creator Danny Antonucci leveraged a deal with Cartoon Network that allowed him and his studio AKA Productions to make the show under the Cartoon Network brand, giving Antonucci much more control and leading to the show's signature style of comedy featuring fourth wall breaks and slapstick.
Yeah, 10
The
years,
show is
6
about 3
seasons in a
friends,
movie.
the lovable oaf Ed, the anxious genius Double D, and the street-smart loudmouth Eddie, as they attempt to run scams on the other kids in their cul-de-sac in order to make money to buy jawbreakers. Ed, Edd and Eddy featured a limited cast of just 12 characters throughout the series, never introducing any adults or characters outside the main cast of kids, leading to every character having a strong and distinct screen presence. The series ended after 69 episodes across 6 seasons due to Cartoon Network's 6-season policy at the time.
I'm telling you, it was because of this show that I wanted to try Jawbreakers. I remember going to the mall one time and like spending, it was like $1.50 or whatever in a vending machine for a giant Jawbreaker because of freaking, and I was influenced, man. I was influenced by freaking Ed and Eddy. And I was like, what's the freaking big deal? Why do they want the Jawbreakers so bad? They must be like this delectable deal. You know what I mean? And then I try a Jawbreaker for the first time and I'm like, this is mid.
Although strangely, season 6 only ended up having one episode after resources were reallocated to create a 90-minute TV movie which served as the show's finale. Gormiti, the Lords of Nature. Final episode premiere date, 9th of November 2009.
Gormiti? The
And
Lords
the
of
final
Adventure?
show...
What is this? Captain Planet? But like, oh, it's French. Okay.
To close out the decade and this video is Gormiti, the Lords of Nature return. Based on the Italian toy line and trading card game, Gormiti was an Italian-French series about kids who can transform into powerful monsters and control the elements to save the world. Though the series ran for 3 seasons in France and Italy, only
Captain Planet, he's our hero.
Season 1 aired on Cartoon Network in the US, after being given an unfavourable 6 AM debut slot and having few reruns.
It's French Captain Planet.
And with the end of Gormiti, that brings us to the end of the 2000s
Comiti,
and the end of this
Gorbiti.
video. I will be covering the shows that ended between 2010 and up
Chowder.
until present day in the next video, so stay subscribed if you want to see that. But overall, this was a pretty fun one. This was my era of when I was watching Cartoon Network as a kid, so
This was
going
my
back
era.
and learning a little bit more about why they ended and what went into making them in the first place was a lot of fun. Some of these shows did end up becoming their own little rabbit holes to investigate, especially some of the more obscure ones I'd never watched or never even heard of in some
Chowder.
cases.
I'm not your boyfriend!
And when I managed to dig up some meaningful info on them, that was incredibly satisfying after so many dead ends. It's also
Dude,
interesting
this
and
was
kind of cool to
content.
see
This
how
was
different
content
executives
tonight, you
come
guys.
in
I'm so
and
glad
lead
that
to
we picked
changes
this
in
up.
programming. Jim Samples coming in and making a clear distinction between kids and adult content, Stuart Snyder getting rid of a lot of existing shows to push his live action projects that ended up backfiring. It puts some context around why decisions to end certain shows happen at certain times, so even if there isn't a specific reason given, you can make a decent guess given the bigger picture of what's happening at the network. Like I said at the start of the video, apologies if I've made any mistakes, I'm sure I have.
Was Chowder not
If you
included?
spot any,
So Chowder is basically part of another era. This is like one segmented era of like Cartoon Network content, and he basically has a part 2 with Chowder included.
let me know in the comments and I'll try and add it to the description for the video. I'd like to thank the people who maintain
Wow,
the
you're up
Cartoon
late,
Network
Mom.
wiki
It's
and the Cartoon
Monday.
Network
React
Adult Swim
Monday is
archives
pretty
for
long
being
for stream.
invaluable sources of information and helping to clear up a lot of the confusion around these
React
shows.
Mondays
And
typically
I'd like to
go
thank
anywhere
you
from
for
4
watching
hours
this far
to
into the video.
7 hours
Which of
long.
these shows was your favorite? Which one were you saddest to see go? Let me know in the comments. Look out for the follow-up video, and until next time, thanks.
Yeah, you can see here that they have another one of completely separate ones. If and this one's at 2 hours and 31 minutes long. Depending on how this one is well received or not on YouTube, we might go into and watch this one too. But we'll see. We'll see how what happens, because Gumball was another series you can see right here, and Steven Universe. Yeah, I really liked those. Misadventures of Flapjack is over here. So yeah, completely different era of Cartoon Network shows. But anyway,